Hey, what's up, guys? It's Eli Danzy and Steve Picorni. Part 2 of the men's series, little 5-minute shorts for your listening and viewing pleasure. I have Steve Picorni here with me, author, entrepreneur, studied in theology of the body. I want to go deep into marriage, men and marriage. What are we called to in marriage as men?
Called to lay down our life for our wives, right? The world's philosophy is that of pursue as much pleasure as possible, or just flip it around, right? The meaning of life for a lot of people is to get laid. We see this especially one of the messages and one of the classes, shall we say, that's taught in college. But in reality, it's not about getting laid, but about laying down one's life for another, so that others may live, so others may thrive. And this is the heart of marriage, right? So for any guys out there, your focus, right, when you come home from work, is your wife, is your children, is being present to them so that they can thrive here. I mean, your wife, if you've got kids, she's been working her butt off. Maybe she's got her own job, right? But also taking care of the kids, and she needs backup. And so we got to remember, it's not about, hey, honey, what can you do for me? But how can I serve you? How can I do that unto death? Which was what Christ did and keeps to doing.
Yeah, a thought just came to my mind about pre-Cana courses and pre-marriage retreats and things like that. You go on them one time, and then you don't work on your marriage anymore. And there are a lot of great marriage ministries out there to learn about, to get involved with. But how do you keep it going? Like, how do you date your wife or your husband? I mean, I talked to this in my podcast.
I'm not going to date my husband.
There's a lot of ministries, Through to Thrive, Alexander House. But I love you, brother.
Love you too.
How do you date your spouse? How do you date your husband? I mean, I think that's
I'm not gonna date
part
my
of
husband.
that's part of where it begins and starts is falling in love with your wife and your spouse every single day.
Yeah. All right. So let's keep it real simple, right? Number one, never stop dating. Just make sure you only date one person, your spouse, right? Key to life, key to happiness in marriage, okay? So you're absolutely saying it correctly, right? How do you do that? Well, it's being intentional. You need to put in your schedule every week an intentional time with your wife. It's like you have a 9 a.m. meeting with your boss. You don't show up for that, you are fired, okay? Your marriage will be fired in a certain sense, or set on fire in a bad way.
Yeah.
Think a place a lot hotter than Texas, okay? Because you're not being intentional about that. And I think that's the key word here, is intentionality. So whatever you got to do. So the old phrase is, if you don't have much money, that's fine. Go for a walk. Go push each other on the swings, not off the swings. Go do something that is going to help to foster intimacy. Second thing I would say is 15 to 30 minutes a day of deep sharing. Okay, because we get caught up, right, as we get married, right? We get all the excitement here,
Yeah.
but then we get settled into our groove, right? We don't want our groove thrown off. We got our projects, our own side projects, perhaps like this, and then we focus. Oh yeah, lights went off. Hey, things happen. See, if you don't take care of the intimacy, life goes off. Welcome to record.
Side hustle, side project.
Okay,
folks.
so no, it's not over yet. So, that's actually a good example, right? Life is going to get thrown off, but where are you putting your priorities? So that 15 to 30 minutes a day of deep sharing, deep intimate sharing. What is intimacy? Into me see. We want to see the other person. We want them to see us. We want to love them. We want them to love us. This is what we are yearning for in our marriages. And if we don't, you're threatening the very foundation, literally, of society, because every society, every culture is built on marriage and family life. So we've got to do our part. We got to enter in and never for one moment think that our marriage is not important.
Yeah, and I think your free, total, faithful, fruitful is so important. I know that you can go into that for hours.
It's not mine, but it's God's.
Just contemplate and pray on that. But I think contraceptives is a big problem in marriage and the family and the church. I think natural family planning, there's an organization called Natural Womanhood. Go look it up for you and your wife. But what would you say, just quickly, about that in marriage? Free, total, faithful, fruitful, and specifically contraceptives.
Sure. I mean, this is the language of love is that of free, total, faithful, fruitful, that of total self-gift. And if you insert contraception into that, it makes that total gift of self a lie. And if in that most intimate act we insert a lie, and we're supposed to be speaking the deepest truth of ourselves, we're going to feel it. And especially because women are called in their very nature to be receptive, and that receptivity is a gift. They're called to receive all of who you are. When we insert that in, because maybe we think we've got a good reason. We've got money issues. We think we have too many kids. We think, I like my career, or we're really struggling financially. We think that we can take the powers of life into our hand. We got to say no. But if we do have a serious reason to postpone for a moment of time or an even extended time, natural family planning does work. Is it hard? Is it a sacrifice? Yes.
But there's apps out there. There's there's like Lady Comp and these different devices or whatever you can buy that'll help you with it.
Mm-hmm. But even more on that though, even in knowing quote unquote techniques, it's still going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
But don't be afraid of that, because in the challenge, guess what happens? Our love gets to widen. That intimacy gets to widen. You get to learn how to pray together. You get to do those things that you were looking for in the first place in marriage.
And when you're open to life and you do get pregnant, you do have a baby, it's like the greatest thing in the world. Just think about it. How much do you love your kids? How much do you love your wife?
It's an amazing gift.
It's an amazing gift and a blessing. Even when it does happen, it's a mistake. It's not a mistake.
No, it's not.
That's God.
No, every child is a gift, and even in the struggles, this is the whole thing, right? You hold fast to God, you hold fast to each other, and you also get plugged in with other couples who want to support you. That's when we think a quote-unquote unplanned pregnancy comes in, and we think the world is over. We think nobody's ever gone through that, and that's the lie that the evil one wants us to believe. No, God, your wife, your other children, and other community will be there to support you. Believe
Amen.
it.
Go support your wife. Go love your wife. Go love Christ, number one. Love your wife, number two.
Amen.
Love you. Bye.
Blessings.